Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about something that's coming up in August, and I wanted to give you ample time warning as to what this could involve and be about. There's so much coming up in August, actually, but when are we ever going to get a break? Well, you know what I said. The break will probably come in October, but until then, we have one event after another. So what am I talking about? I want to talk about a configuration. I mean, the alignment of planets. I don't even care if you're doing Vedic or Western. You got to see what's happening in this alignment of planets, because the aspects are actually the same in Vedic or Western. In other words, maybe they're in a different sign, but their angles and the degrees between the planets are still going to be the same. So that means the aspects. So I am talking about something that's coming up around the new moon, which is August 23rd, but even August 24th. And really, if I could say the whole week around this time, there is something very intense happening. I want to go into all the configurations because I've never seen anything like it. The aspects that keep coming at us are so intense. Therefore, I know events will be very intense. So before I go on, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org. You will get all my predictions delivered to your email address every week. And while you're there, check out my Patreon. That is, if you want to feel connected with like-minded people, this is the place. We meet every week. Join my Patreon. You'll find it on the galacticcenter.org. And if you want all of these configurations figured up and how they affect you personally according to your birth chart, you want the Galactic Planner. All of this is figured out for you personally, and it's put into your calendar. Go to galacticplanner.com. And last but not least, if you want to study with me, become my student, go to my university website, universityofvedicastrology.com. So let us go forward with what I'm talking about. I felt a need to make a separate video concerning how these aspects look and what they mean for us. So I am going to scoot over here and I'm going to put the chart up of I'm just going to put up the new moon, which is August 23rd, 2025. And I want to show you what is going on that I think is so unusual and rare, but also what it means. So for those of you that don't know astrology, bear with me, but you're going to get the meaning out of it. Astrology is a science, I'm telling you, and it works. So here is what's going on. If you'll look over there to where the sun and the moon come together, that's a new moon. When the sun and the moon are exactly conjunct, that creates the whole cyclic process of the waxing and waning moon. When the moon comes together with the sun, that's when you don't see it. That's a new moon. And then the next day you see a sliver. And the next day it gets to be a bigger sliver, all the way till the full moon, which takes 2 weeks. Then from the full moon, the moon is waning and getting smaller in light. So when it's waxing, it's growing to its fullness, and that takes 2 weeks. But this is a new moon, and what a new moon means is new beginnings, new starts. It almost looks like a solar eclipse this day, because a solar eclipse is when you have the sun and a new moon or a full moon when they're with Rahu and Ketu. It's just that in September, the new moon will be closer to Ketu. So the solar eclipse is actually in September, but this one's pretty close because Ketu still, it's out of orb with Ketu, and the sun and the moon are not as close as they need to be to technically cause an eclipse. But if you'll look at that 6 degrees, and the sun will be 7 degrees the next day because the sun moves 1 degree every day. So when you look at that 6 degrees, notice all the other planets that are 6, 7 degrees, please. You're not going to believe it. So I'm looking at Pluto, 7 degrees. I'm looking at Neptune, 7 degrees. Saturn just backed up a little bit. Now it's 6 degrees. It was 7 degrees. But looking at this, those two, Pluto and the Saturn Neptune, they're 3 signs from each other, 1, 2, 3. That's actually a sextile in Western astrology. But what you need to form a yod, which is the finger of God, something huge is about to happen. And it has a very fated type feeling, or it is fated. It's something that's meant to happen. That's what the finger of God means. With a yod, it means 2 planets. And in this case, it's actually 3 because Neptune and Saturn are conjunct. But 2 planets, and I'm talking about the Pluto with the Saturn Neptune, both of them form what's called a quincunx to that new moon. And the very next day when the sun is 7 degrees, it's exact. That would be the 24th. Notice where Uranus is. Oh my God, this is like unbelievable. Uranus is squaring that new moon, and it will be squaring the sun. And a square means it's 4 placements from it. So if if you're not into the math and all that, just count from Uranus to where the sun moon is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a square. 4 and 10 are squares from different places, but that is a square. That is a hard aspect. Really tough, hard, creates events. So Uranus is aspecting the sun and the moon on this day. That means something unexpected, shocking will happen around this time. Now, sometimes it happens a day or 2 before, but it's around this time. Something shocking and unexpected will happen. But this yod, let me go back to the yod. It is when you have 2 quincunxes. And the focal point is going to be the sun and the moon. So let me point this out. If you go to where Saturn and Neptune are, around 7 degrees, right? And you count to where the sun moon are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's a quincunx. Because if you count back from where the sun and the moon are to where the Saturn Neptune is, you will arrive at 8 placements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6-8 relationship. We call it a Shastaka in Vedic astrology. And it essentially means takes together the meanings of the 6th and the 8th house. The 6th house is enemies and accidents. And the 8th house is death, disgrace, humiliation, corruption, secrets. So put all that together. What do you have with the sun and the moon? And let me remind you, the sun in mundane astrology means when you're looking at planets representative of the world events, is presidents. It's leaders. So what I am trying to say is something catastrophic is going to happen to a leader. Either they're going to have to step down from some corruption, disgrace, dishonor, and or death, or something around this level that is going to change leadership in the world. And let me count from Pluto, because remember Pluto makes a quincunx too to the sun moon. Count from Pluto, from Capricorn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see that's an 8 placement. And then if you count back from the sun moon to where Pluto is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an 8-6 relationship. Either 6-8, 8-6. When you have 2 of them, it's like you draw on the chart a line where it creates a Y and point it to where the focal point is, called the apex. That's the sun and the moon. This is a new beginning of something huge. It's about to happen. But another thing is, when you look at where Mars is, It's actually, it was around the 8th, the 8th of August. Mars was around 7 degrees, triggering that opposition to Saturn Neptune, and it's definitely creating a grand trine with, if you look at Pluto and Uranus, they're both 7 degrees, they're in a trine to each other. What's a trine? 5, 9. If you count from Pluto to Uranus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's a trine? It's usually a lucky aspect, but I find more than not, it simply connects planets. So we've got Pluto connected to Uranus. Pluto is major transformational change. Major, not minor. Major things happening. Uranus is sudden, unexpected events. So let me just say, with them being the same degree, they're connected, creating some major transformational changes. And with where Mars was around the 8th and the 9th of August, it triggered something. But because if you will look back to that day, Mars was 7 degrees Virgo. Just think of Mars being 7 degrees of Virgo. It was exactly opposing the Saturn Neptune, and it was in a grand trine to Pluto, Uranus, and Mars. They're all connected. If that's not enough, then just think of the fact that Uranus, by the fact that it is squaring the Sun exactly on August 24th. This is unexpected, and the Sun is world leadership. There is something about to happen. One thing I did point out in my newsletter, where the Sun and the Moon are, they're conjunct the fixed star Regulus in Leo, which is the star that is the heart of the lion. And that represents kings and leaders too. Don't forget, it is in the nakshatra Magha, which symbol is a throne. A lot of Indian astrologers laughed at the prospect that Donald Trump's ascendant sits at 6 degrees of Leo. And what did he start? The Make America Great Again, MAGA. So it's so interesting that this nakshatra is almost the same word. Weird, isn't it, how some things happen? And you could have just said, this is weird. This means something's coming of him, you know, way back when, before we thought he would be elected. And here's the most important thing. Because these planets are aspecting Donald Trump's ascendant, it could be him that something's about to happen to. If not, he'll be involved. I get that there's world leaders that have this connection with this yod. A lot of them, Netanyahu, a lot of different world leaders. We will see. Something big is about to happen. And I want to say, gosh, I feel like I'm always giving these warnings out, but hey, the reason why I do it is to prevent things. I believe that we can prevent things, but this is pretty weird how exact all these planets are coming together really this whole month of August. I can't wait to get out of this month, to be honest, because it's too much. And I thought July was going to be the worst of it. But no, now I just spotted all these yods going on. We had yods in June, created events. We had the horrific Mars K2 and all of the planets that I talked about that caused flooding and the unexpected. But now we have something else that looks like attacks, but will be shocking, comes out of the blue, didn't know it. It is the finger of God that is at play with all of this. This is the true astrology, looking at aspects, looking at, in Vedic we call it the drishti, to glance at the angles of the planets, how they're placed from one another. This is what makes astrology work. So if you're wondering, no, it's not all the stuff that you read in the magazines. This is the science and the art of true astrology. So with that, I think I'll close. And let's just pray that whatever happens is for our highest good and will change the planet to make it better, and that our lives will be better because of it. That is my prayer. So this is what I'm seeing. So I hope you enjoyed this talk, and let's get ready. One more thing I want to add, because of that Neptune Saturn being in Pisces, Neptune rules disease, and with Mars being in Virgo this whole month, beef up your immune system, because there could be some kind of virus or problem coming out. Again, yes, it could happen, but hopefully it's just a flu season and it's nothing. Let's hope for that. But I wanted to get everyone where they can prepare themselves so that you can prevent any problems in your own personal life. So being forewarned is being prepared, and that will protect you. So just be aware that this is stuff that's due to happen, and yeah, it'll be for the highest good of the planet. So with that, I think I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, you can go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Thank you.